If there's one thing that annoys me in the entertainment world, it's how little respect voice actors get. They're almost never used in any promotional material, and in movies they get passed over for celebrities so they can have recognisable names even if they can't voice act, or worse, when they end up replacing someone who's been playing a character for years. So, I wanted to finally show respect to these people by creating a new series called Who's That Voice? In this series, I will go through some of my favourite cartoons and games and not only tell you who voices some of your favourite characters, but also bring up other characters they've played. Let's begin with the first episode, which is all about
SpongeBob SquarePants!
SpongeBob is one of the most successful Nicktoons of all time. Actually, it might just be one of the most successful cartoons in general. These characters are some of the most recognisable of all time, so it saddens me that most don't know who voices them. But today, I'm going to change that and let you know who's that voice. I'm going to be splitting this up into 4 categories: main characters, secondary characters, guest characters, aka characters who have only appeared in one episode, and finally, movie exclusive characters. So let's begin with main characters. Start off with a character you all know.
Oh! Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants!
Yep, the painting at the start of the show. What, were you thinking of someone else? This guy's the first person you see, and he opens every episode. For me, he's the star of the show. All joking aside, did you know this guy actually has a name? It's Painty the Pirate. Yeah, not Patchy the Pirate like some people incorrectly say, including official SpongeBob media. Anyways, this guy is voiced by Patrick Pinney. He actually has a very big honour, as he was the first person to voice Wolverine.
Welcome her. Wait, she's not joining the X-Men, is she? She's just a kid.
This was for an animated pilot called X-Men, Pride of the X-Men, which, fun fact, is what the popular arcade game Bio Konami is based on. But you didn't expect to learn about that in this video. Wolverine isn't the only Marvel character he voiced, as he also played the Thing in the 90s Spider-Man show.
I ain't telling you nothing, Tin Face.
He's also appeared as multiple characters in the show Robot Chicken, where he's played He-Man,
Trees are some of our most precious resources.
Who are you talking to?
Your face!
Sylvester the Cat,
People running across the border was a problem, but these new systems are impregnable. Son of a...
Oscar the Grouch,
Yeah, especially since we're the last neighborhood in New York that hasn't been gentrified.
Until today!
and the Terminator.
Negative. A string of neglectful father figures gave you a strong distrust of authority. That trait led to your role as leader of the resistance and savior of the human race. So go get me another beer.
One more interesting voice role he had is he once played Mr. Krabs.
This cash register is broken and I can't get me money out!
Yeah, for some reason Krabs' voice actor doesn't appear in many of the video games, so they get stand-ins to voice him, and Pat was one of them. If you're wondering, he plays Krabs in the PC game SpongeBob SquarePants Typing.
I'm ready! I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready.
Good old SpongeBob SquarePants. He's voiced by voice acting legend Tom Kenny. Now SpongeBob isn't his only character in the show, as he also plays his pet snail Gary,
I know he still isn't looking for work. Don't rub it in.
the French narrator,
Means another whole year of boarding school.
SpongeBob's father,
Mrs. Puff, we were starting to think SpongeBob was never going to get his license. But you never gave up on him. You never quit. You never took the easy way out.
he also provides noises for the jellyfish, and he also has a live-action appearance as Patchy the Pirate.
I'm Patchy the Pirate, president of the SpongeBob SquarePants fan club.
Kenny actually reprised his role as Patchy for the SpongeBob musical when it was set to air on TV.
Why are we constantly misunderstood? Don't you know pirates have feelings?
Actually, Kenny has a lot of live-action appearances on the show. Here he is in Neptune's Baxter as the man who gets caught in the shower.
Whoopsie.
And here he is on the face of the hot sauce in Karate Choppers.
By the powers of naughtiness, I command this particular drop of hot sauce to be really, really hot.
Now, because we're probably going to be seeing a lot more of Tom Kenny, I thought it would be interesting to show some of his earliest work. His first voice role was as Heifer in Rocko's Modern Life.
Christopher, you're here to lose that big gut, not eat.
The more I eat, the more weight I get to lose.
This makes sense as many of the staff who worked on Rocco later went to work on SpongeBob, including SpongeBob's creator, Steven Hillenburg. In fact, it was working on Rocco that Hillenburg discovered Kenny. However, before that, Kenny was a stand-up comic, and his first ever role was in the 1989 romantic comedy, How I Got Into College.
Oh, Jesus!
What? What's going on?
It's that moron!
Him? Oh, Christ!
Then he appeared in the dark comedy, Shakes the Clown.
Where you going, old man? You didn't see nothing, all right? You saw 5 happy, jolly clowns sitting around eating a big plate of beef. White, powdery beef.
As for TV, he appeared in a show called Friday Night Videos, where he hosted Music News, a sort of satirical look at the week's news.
They said that, quote, although pictures of Vanilli's Pilatus and Morvan were on the album's packaging and the two mouthed the words of the songs in videos and concerts, such promotion did not give the impression that the two sang the recorded songs. Yeah, right.
Finally, he appeared as many characters in a sketch comedy show called The Edge.
Worthy's Hardware, we have the widest selection of obsolete but fully operational artificial hearts and pacemakers available anywhere.
It's interesting to see Tom's early career. Makes you wonder what would have happened if he didn't appear in Rocco.
The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma.
The lovable goofball Patrick Star. He's voiced by Bill Fagerbakke. I think that's how it's pronounced. Apologies for your name. Unlike Kenny, he doesn't play any other major characters, but he does make a live-action appearance alongside Kenny's Patchy as a caveman in the episode SpongeBob BC.
I call him Cavey. And he jumped in. It's okay, Cavey.
Before SpongeBob, 2 of his more interesting roles are playing animated versions of movie characters. First, he played Harry June in a Dumb and Dumber show.
Look! Highway 130. I think this is it.
Then he played the adult Alan Parrish in an animated version of Jumanji.
My name's Alan. Speak. Who are you and how did you get here?
He's also played the Spider-Man villain, Hydro Man, on 2 separate occasions. He first played him in the Universal Studios ride, The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man.
You're taking a dive.
Yes, again, Super Goo.
And he also played a pre-Hydro Man, Morris Bench, in the Spectacular Spider-Man.
Still. No. Countdown's activated. 30 seconds to implosion.
Shut it down.
I'm trying, but I'm locked out. We'll never get clear in time.
Sadly, the show ended before he could become Hydro Man. He's also had a few live-action appearances, with one of his most famous being the 2012 film Jennifer's Body for this viral scene.
Do you hear me, you bastard? I'll cut off your nutsack and nail it to my door! Like one of those lion door knockers rich folks got! That will be your balls!
Yep, Patrick Star said that.
It's not my birthday!
Everybody's a critic to Squidward Tentacles. He's voiced by Roger Bombas, who also voices the Doctor, Gil Gilliam.
Yeah, we're with the pet hospital down the street, and I understand you have a dying animal on the premises.
And he also provides the voices for the anchovies.
Is this any way to behave? Can we show a little decency and form a neat single-file line in front of the register?
SpongeBob isn't the only Nick show where he had a major voice role, as he also voiced Professor Membrane in Invader Zim.
And nobody is as excited for the big celebration as I am.
Not scientifically possible!
He also played the DC villain, Dr. Light in Teen Titans.
Once I've drained the energy from 50,000 barrels of oil, I'll flood the city in never-ending daylight.
Oh, remember how I mentioned that Bill played Hydro Man in the Spider-Man ride at Universal Studios? Roger was also in that ride, playing Dr. Octopus.
Don't leave now! Things are just starting to...
Wow, who would have thought that a Spider-Man ride would feature 2 SpongeBob actors in it?
That sound. It sounds like the pitter-patter of money! Hey! Where are you going, beautiful?
Mr. Krabs! Wow!
Stop!
The owner of the Krusty Krab, Mr. Krabs, is voiced by another legend in the voice acting scene, Clancy Brown. He doesn't voice anyone else important in the show, but he makes up for it for the huge amount of comic book characters he plays. So first off, he's very famous for playing Lex Luthor. He originally played him in the Superman animated series.
As long as I have the rock, you can't stop me. But it is bothersome to have you always trying. So, the deal is this. You leave me and my operations alone, and I and my little green rock will leave you alone.
But he's reprised the role in things like LEGO DC supervillains.
Professor Ivo, I still fail to see what a break-in has to do with me.
He's also voiced both Bane.
I am Bane, the last opponent you will ever face.
And Mr. Freeze in the Batman.
Lovely little glaciers.
And moving over to Marvel, he's voiced Taskmaster on many occasions, like in Ultimate Spider-Man.
His moves I can master. My powers cover that. But the tech makes it trickier. No wonder your employer is eager.
He's also played both Rhino and George Stacy in Spectacular Spider-Man.
Attention, Rhino. Lay down flat in your crater. And keep your hands where we can see them.
You see him now?
And in 2017, he actually appeared in the MCU playing the character Suitor in Thor Ragnarok.
Then you have seen Ragnarok, the fall of Asgard, the great prophecy.
Hang on. I'll be back around shortly.
And that's not even scratching the surface to his roles. We'll definitely be seeing him again in another video.
Hold on there, little square dude!
So Sandy Cheeks is played by Carolyn Lawrence. Similar to Roger, she had another main role in a separate Nicktoons show, that being Cindy Vortex in The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius.
After class, I'll be happy to demonstrate how boy dinosaurs got their butts kicked by girl dinosaurs on a regular basis. Excuse me.
She also appeared in an episode of Fairly Odd Parents, playing the character Mrs. Sunshine.
Children, in my class, as long as you try, you will never fail.
A substitute teacher who later turned out to be a fairy hunter called Miss Doombringer.
And now, it is time for a pop quiz of my own. Question number 1. Which one of you has a fairy godparent?
She's also had 2 interesting voice roles in video games. First, she played both Alora and Zoe in Spyro Year of the Dragon.
The holes came out on the other side of the dragon worlds. We found some of the eggs, but they were too heavy to carry back.
The other side of the world?
Which, funny enough, also featured Tom Kenny playing the title character.
So, now that you're done saving the world again, are you gonna visit me in Avalar?
Sure, Alora, but I still have to find the rest of the eggs and, well, Hunter's disappeared again.
But here's one you might not be expecting. She also appeared in the hugely popular Resident Evil 4. Now, who did she play? Well, she played Ashley Graham. You know, this character.
You'll never catch me, Krabs. Not when I shift into maximum overdrive. Hi-ya! I knew I should have gotten the turbo.
The main villain of the show, Plankton, is voiced by Doug Lawrence, or Mr. Lawrence as he's more commonly known. Unlike the rest of the main cast, Lawrence isn't just a voice actor, he's also one of the show's writers. Also, if you're a fan of Plankton, then you should thank him because he's the reason Plankton's still around. Apparently, SpongeBob's creator Steven Hillenburg didn't think Plankton would have much potential, and planned to have the character only appear once, and Nickelodeon even said he should have a guest voice like Bruce Willis. However, Lawrence was convinced there was still more to him, and after giving Hillenburg a set of story ideas, the character was upgraded to a main character. Moving on, Plankton isn't the only character he voices. He always voices Larry the Lobster.
SpongeBob, let me take this. I haven't seen any action all day.
Action?
The realistic fish head, or Johnny as he's sometimes known as.
It's a new power, the Bubble Bowl. But wait, there's more. A golden spatula, and that's not all. A gift certificate for $5.32 to Dean's Little Shop of Dried Fish Flakes and Flowers.
He's also responsible for this iconic SpongeBob line.
My leg!
As for other voice roles, he mostly only voices characters in shows he writes for, like Rocko's Modern Life, which as I mentioned earlier, many SpongeBob writers worked on there. Here he voiced Filbert.
Holy fish sticks. Oh, please. Oh, please. Oh, please.
He was also a story editor for the Cartoon Network show Mighty Magosaurus, where he voices the characters Helmut.
I told you Riboflavin doesn't need warriors.
Why do you look exactly the same as when we were 5?
I have a condition.
And Ralphio.
Are you two trying to drive old Ralphio bonkers? You both just purchased your pre-items not 10 minutes ago.
However, he did voice characters for Captain Laszlo, despite not writing for it. This makes sense as the show was created by Joe Murray, who also made Rocko's Modern Life. Here he played the character Edward.
You're supposed to worship me, not imitate me! You're supposed to worship me, not imitate me!
You're not letting them leave, are you? Can't you see? This is the perfect opportunity for revenge.
Elaborate.
Befriend the SpongeBob. Then, when the timing is just right, take the Krabby Patty.
Plankton's computer wife Karen is played by Jill Talley. Now, she doesn't play any other notable characters, but she does have another connection to SpongeBob, and that is that she's the wife of SpongeBob himself, Tom Kenny. The two of them met when they were both cast members of The Edge in 1992, and got married 5 years later. How sweet. Although it is funny that in the show she's married to one of SpongeBob's rivals. As for other roles, she had an appearance in an episode of Rocko's Modern Life, where she played a character called Nosy.
One-time best friends who now hate each other. Very much. Let's go to our studio audience. Yes, sir.
Well, Nosy, first I'd like to say that this is the most riveting and poignant show you've ever done.
Yes. Yes, it is, isn't it?
Funnily enough, she actually reprised the role for the Rocko special Static Clink.
Mr. Big Head Nosy of News Trunk News here. How does it feel knowing your math mistake has just taken down all of Conglommo?
However, her most famous role now is playing Mrs. Loud in The Loud House.
No, we're sorry we've been forcing all these activities on you guys. We got so caught up in worrying about your future that we forgot about your present.
What have I done? Everyone will know that I let him slide through school. I'll have to move to a new city, start a new boating school with a new name. No, not again. I've got to end this thing before it begins.
So Mrs. Puff is voiced by Mary Jo Catlett. Before SpongeBob, she was a popular theatre actress, where she originated the role of Ernesta in Hello Dolly. I know nothing about Broadway, so I don't know what that means. I assume that means she was the first person to play the role. It was actually her theatre work that got her the role as Mrs. Puff. At the Sillenberg had seen her perform and immediately knew he wanted to cast her as Mrs. Puff. Next to her role as Mrs. Puff, she's probably most well known for her role in the TV show Different Strokes, where she played Pearl Gallagher.
This is worse than Poltergeist. Stay away from the television, everybody. Excuse me, everyone, but I have to go lie down under my bed.
Totally, SB. You ooze fashion. And I've got some completely Coro concepts for this old joint, and I'm gonna need someone with your kind of talent to help me.
The final main character is Mr. Krabs' daughter, Pearl. She's played by Laurie Allen. She's played a few characters that many of you might actually recognise. She played Diane Simmons in Family Guy.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a breaking news story. We apologize to Joan of Arcadia's sanctimonious, fear-based, and probably overweight viewers.
She plays Bonnie's mum in the Toy Story films.
That is so cool.
I finished kindergarten.
No, that was just orientation.
And she also briefly appeared in Inside Out, where she plays the mother's version of Sadness.
Let's probe, but keep it subtle so she doesn't notice.
And here's one that might shock you. She played the boss in the Metal Gear Solid series.
All that's left for you to take is my life, by your own hand. One must die, and one must live. No victory, no defeat. The survivor will carry on the fight. It is our destiny.
So yeah, next time we get to the end of Metal Gear Solid 3 where you have to fight her, just remember that her actor also voiced in this scene.
Give me a K-R-U! Give me a S-T-Y! Rusty Krab! Rusty Krab!
Brad, come on in. Hush, Potty. Can't you see I'm trying to keep out the riffraff? Riffraff? That's our television audience, Barnacle Breath. Oh!
Now let's move on to secondary characters. I already revealed that Patchy is played by Tom Kenny. What about his partner in crime, Potty the Parrot? Well, here's something that might interest you. In seasons 2 and 3, Potty was voiced by Steven Hillenburg. Before creating SpongeBob, Hillenburg was actually a marine biologist, which obviously explains why he wanted to make a show that took place under the sea. As I'm sure we all know, Hillenburg left the shaft in the first movie, so the role of Potty then went to Paul Tibbitt.
I call this one Buried Treasure. Where'd you dig that one up? Walk.
This one's called Walk the Plank.
I'm already bored with that one.
This one will blow that little bird brain of yours. Behold, the Patty Patty. Ahoy.
Oh, that's the worst one yet. Brr.
Cole was another writer for the show, and he was also put in charge of directing the second SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. However, it seems he also left the show at some point before the 10th season, as now Potty is voiced by Mr. Lawrence, who we've already mentioned.
Maybe if you remember to fill the tank with gas.
Oh, Potty, you're full of gas. Get out of here.
All I said was there's evil afoot.
Will you please stop saying that?
One of the most popular recurring characters, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. Let's start with Mermaid Man first. He's voiced by legendary actor Ernest Borgnine. He's appeared in many films in his early years, and he even won an Oscar for his role in the 1955 film Marty.
Ma, when are you going to give up? You got a bachelor on your hands. I ain't never going to get married.
You're going to get married.
Ma, sooner or later there comes a point in a man's life when he's got to face some facts.
For other voice roles, he played the Brain's father in an episode of Pinky and the Brain.
Food pellets. Very uptown, Mr. Wolfgang Puck Tea Room. Father! Don't make me separate you, boy.
He also played himself in the Simpsons episode Boy Scouts in the Hood.
Oh, come on, kid. Quit crying. It'll be fun. I promise.
However, chances are he was most likely chosen for this role thanks to his role in McHale's Navy, where he played the lead role.
Captain, I'm always willing to cooperate. Yes, sir. Granted, my boy's a little high-spirited.
But what's interesting is that his co-star in this show is Tim Conway, and he plays Barnacle Boy.
Howdy, I'm Quint McHale. You're Commander McHale? Just call me Mac. Mac.
It's Charles Parker reporting aboard, sir.
I assume this was an intentional choice to have both of them play the role. Anyways, along with his role in McHale's Navy, he was also famous for his appearances in the Carol Burnett Show.
Oh, gosh. Why, C's. C's? Yeah, see, in dental school, in filling and pulling, I only got C's. That was just kind of an average grade.
Which managed to win him both a Primetime Emmy and a Golden Globe. And just like Borgnine, he also appeared in an episode of The Simpsons as himself.
I wish our special guest, Tim Conway, didn't have to leave so soon.
I'm still here. Fox wouldn't spring for a decent hotel room.
Sadly, both Borgnine and Conway have since passed away. Borgnine passed away in 2012, which placed the characters in retirement, with Conway appearing in the show one more time by playing one of the seagulls in the second SpongeBob movie, before he passed away in 2019. Both of these actors brought these characters to life, so seeing them go was very sad. The show feels very empty without these two.
You cannot save them, sponge of mystery. They are trapped by my awesome surface tension.
Speaking of Merman and Barnacle Boy, let's talk about their two recurring villains. First we have the Dirty Bubble, who in his first appearance was played by the late Charles Nelson Riley. I specify first appearance because for some reason after that he was recast with Tom Kenny now playing the role.
Huh? Oh, I'm dreadfully sorry, gentlemen. You must be in the wrong room. This room is reserved for the BGATFBC.
Although he did reprise his role one more time in the video game Lights Camera Pants.
You think that's bad? I got caught for having bad breath in a public place.
As for other roles, he was also a famous stage actor and actually appeared as Cornelius Hackle in the same production of Hello Dolly as Mary Jo. He was also a regular panelist in the game show Match Game.
We're running out of music, Charles.
Not this tune, you ain't. This goes on and on and on, and I've heard it for 2 damn years.
And as for other voice roles, he played Killer in the Don Bluth film All Dogs Go to Heaven.
You want that I should go squeeze his head with the pliers?
Killer.
And he also once played Mr. Toad in the version of Wind in the Willows from 1987.
You'll be happy to know I'm giving up the sea. It's beginning to bore me.
Aren't you Patrick Star? Yep. And this is your ID? Yep. I found this ID in this wallet. And if that's the case, this must be your wallet.
That makes sense to me.
Then take it.
It's not my wallet.
Now for the other villain, Man Ray, he is also been voiced by two different actors. In his first two appearances, he was played by John Rhys Davies, a Welsh actor who was actually born in Wiltshire, which is where I live. Cool. Anyway, here's something I didn't know until making this video. He's actually the actor who plays Gimli in the Lord of the Rings movies.
So much for the legendary courtesy of the elves. Speak words we can all understand.
We have not had dealings with the dwarves since the dark days.
And you know what this dwarf says to that? Ish kakui, ai dorug nul.
He also voices Treebeard in the film as well.
It's talking, Mary. The tree is talking.
Tree? I am no tree. I am an ant.
John has also voiced Thor in certain Marvel cartoons like the 90s Incredible Hulk show.
Old Emerald One, battle hath breached the tunnel. Cease we must, else these mortals shall perish.
As of the release of Lights Camera Pants, he was replaced by Bob Jones.
The second most arch nemesis, Man Ray. Oh, come on! What does it take to get to #1 in this town?
Now he's voiced a ton of famous characters. He's played the role of Sneezy in many Disney properties like Kingdom Hearts.
She sang us pretty songs.
He played Bagheera in the second Jungle Book film.
This has to stop. You can't keep trying to take Mowgli from the man village. The boy's future lies with his own kind.
He also played J. Jonah Jameson in the 2017 Spider-Man cartoon.
The Daily Bugle's a top-tier multi-platform news organization. Call me back when you can grow facial hair.
Finally, here's two interesting roles. He has also played Gimli in many of the video games like Lord of the Rings Conquest.
Let this dwarf show you how to fight!
And like Pat Pinney, he's also played Mr. Krabs in some of the video games like Truth or Square.
Tomorrow's a very important day for Kashi. Think of all the Krabby Patties we'll sell. I'm the Flying Dutchman. I'm the Flying Dutchman. Who dares wake the Flying Dutchman? Keep it down, will ya? I'm trying to get some sleep.
So the Flying Dutchman is played by Brian Doyle Murray, who is actually the older brother of famous actor Bill Murray. Because of that, he's appeared in many of his films like Groundhog Day.
This February 2nd at 7:20 and 30 seconds, Punxsutawney Phil, the seer of seers, prognosticator of prognosticators, emerged reluctantly but alertly in Punxsutawney, PA, and stated in groundhogese, I definitely see a shadow.
As for some other roles, he once played Baloo the Bear in the 1998 movie The Jungle Book, Mowgli's Story.
You know, grubs, maggots, and worms are a great source of protein, and they're delicious. This thing's heavy. What do you see under there?
And he also played Captain Knuckles in The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack.
I wish for a new hat and a corn dog. And now, I wish to be at Candide Island. I wish to be at Candide Island.
Yes, yes. At last, someone worthy of being the royal fry cook, who has freed the spatula from the grease.
The ruler of the sea, King Neptune, is voiced by John O'Hurley. Well, in the show at least, but I'll get to that later. Funnily enough, this isn't the only character he voices, as he also voiced the video game exclusive character Seymour Scales in SpongeBob Boating Bash.
What seems to be the problem, son?
I failed my driving test. Again.
Well, you shouldn't let that get you down. You can always take it again.
It was my 78th time!
As for his other roles, he's probably most famous for playing Jay Peterman in Seinfeld.
Oh, damn, I forgot to buy plant food again. I bet I got a coupon for it.
He also briefly hosted the popular game show Family Feud.
Name your wife's most unappealing habit. Won't hit it so hard. Everett.
Picking her feet.
And we can connect him to another Nick show as he made a guest appearance in an episode of Drake and Josh.
Josh Nichols. Hello there. I'm Dr. Carlson. I'll be doing the surgery on your foot in a few hours, so I thought I'd stop by to say, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was interrupting. Doctor. Doctor.
And as for other voice roles, he played the semi-regular character Roger Doofenshmirtz in Phineas and Ferb.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to City Hall on this fine first day of National Etiquette Week.
That's right, honey. Now just stay in bed. And no going near the boat.
So we know who voices SpongeBob's dad, but what about his mum? Well, she's played by Serena Irwin, who also plays Mama Krabs.
For your
information, Eugene. He hasn't asked me once about the formula. I doubt that he even knows that I know it.
However, she didn't used to, as in her first appearances, she was actually played by Paul Tibbett.
You should all be ashamed. And if you're going to talk like sailors, then you're going to work like sailors.
Obviously, Serena is better suited to the role, but I love Tibbett's portrayal of her. It cracks me up. Anyway, Serena, along with being a voice actor, is also a voice director and has worked on many shows like Apple and Onion, Voltron Legendary Defender, and She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. As for voices, she's also voiced Lois Lane in Batman Brave and the Bold.
Oh, Batman. Gee, thanks.
And she also played Harley Quinn in the 2017 film Batman vs. Two-Face.
Say hello to your new and improved Harley Quinn.
You don't have to be a baby to get old Grandma's love.
I don't.
Of course not. No matter how grown up you get, you will always be my little baby boo.
As for Grandma SquarePants, she's voiced by Marion Ross. She's most famous for playing Marion Cunningham in the very popular TV show Happy Days.
We can start rehearsing tomorrow. Oh, this is so exciting. And we are going to be so good. Thank you, Arthur. You're very sweet.
And she also appeared briefly in that 70s show where she played Bernice Foreman.
I hate this car. You know, I just hate this car. Your brother Jerry has a beautiful car, a Lincoln. But then he makes more money, a lot more money than you do.
I'm the leader of a big fancy band now, and we're supposed to play the Bubble Bowl next week. That's right. I'm living your dreams, Squidward.
And finally, for the secondary characters, we have Squilliam Fancyson, who's voiced by another legendary voice actor, D. Bradley Baker. He's also voiced a couple of other notable characters like Bubble Bass.
I'll take a double triple bossy deluxe on a raft, 4x4 animal style, extra shingles with a shimmy and a squeeze, light axle grease, make it cry, burn it and let it swim.
We serve food here, sir.
Kevin the Sea Cucumber.
Your first test? Catch a jellyfish.
Hey, I caught one. Am I a jelly spotter now?
Maybe he caught one in the club.
That doesn't count.
Ouch!
And Perch Perkins.
What inspired you to build a second Krusty Krab right next door to the original?
Money!
Now, when I say he's legendary, I mean it. There are so many voice roles he's done that I don't know where to start. So here's just a couple of my favourites. He played number 4 in Codename Kiss Next Door.
That knucklehead number 2 probably ended up right in the middle of that crazy Shogun's throne room. Oh, crud!
Klaus in American Dad.
You know, Stan, before the CIA put my brain into the body of a fish, I was a great chef. My specialty was seafood.
He provided the voice of every clone trooper in Star Wars The Clone Wars.
CT-327, report in. Sentry, do you copy?
Interference from the medias?
I don't see him down there, Sarge. You two, go find him.
And he's also played Mr. Fantastic in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes.
Hank, I've been able to keep Princess Ravana stabilized, but Wait, where is Hank?
So that's it for part 1. I wanted this to be one big video, but it was getting too long, so I'm splitting this into 2. And I think this is a good place to stop before I get into the guest characters. Maybe once I finish this, I'll put it all into one big video. Anyways, if you're enjoying the video so far, then let me know by liking the video and leaving a comment. And if you want to watch the next video, then hit the subscribe button so you know when it's out. I'm Homer Star Fan, and I'll see you next time.